Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Nuisance back at it again. And today's video topic is 5 things men need to know in their 20s. So basically the concept of this video just to help men like me, you know what I'm saying? Excuse the burp. Like me, basically, sometimes we all feel like just lost in life. Sometimes we lose our direction. Sometimes we lose our sense of purpose, and we wonder like, what's next in this journey? What's next in this step? What's the next step that I need to do to get to the next level? What do I need to advance my career and advance my focus? Honestly, I watch these YouTube videos because it definitely helps, like, give me a sense of direction and a sense of purpose to where, okay, I need to focus. I need to focus more on these tangible things or on these tangible things to help my life improve and get on the right track. So first I'm gonna share the screen and I'm gonna upload I'm gonna share the Google tab. So basically I typed into Google what things should every man have at 20. Basically it just gave me lifestyle tips for people who's 20 or in their 20s, I should say. First of all, you want to depend on yourself. Um, Surround yourself with successful people, write down things, set a routine, be in a constant state of learning. As you can see, I got my book over here, Think and Grow Rich. It's just one of many books that I decided to read. I just picked up reading this year. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't read since goddamn, I haven't read since college, 2019 to 2018 until now. You know what I'm saying? So it's about what 2018, 20, you know what I'm saying? About 4 years. About 4 years since I decided to pick up another book that was not recommended. Uh what else? Be active with women. That's secondary. That's I feel like that's more secondary. That could go into the second phase of life, like towards the late 20s. But I see what they're saying. Like you want to get that experience with women so that you don't technically lust for women as much, or you're not socially awkward around women. I can see where that can go. Save your money and spend it wisely. Yeah, that's definitely a big one. And know how to sell yourself, which is the part I'm still learning right now. I'm still learning sales. I want to learn sales, honestly. I might even take up a sales course sooner or later. Um, but I feel like sales is definitely one of those things that helps every man in their journey, because if you're not if you're good with sales, you could sell anything. You could influence almost any product and you could potentially gain a lot of financial gain off of it. Um yeah, but without further ado though, I'm about to get into this video. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen and I'm gonna get to this video. Basically, it's the video's called 5 Things You Need to Know in Your 20s. Yeah. So let's do it. Give me 1 second. Yeah, videos like these help me out all the time, and it's definitely free on YouTube, man. So take advantage of it. Take advantage. All this knowledge is free. If you're not into books right now, I would highly recommend you get into books because books definitely go more in depth about these details. But if you don't have the time to read and you kind of on the whim, just in the go, in and out of life, definitely use YouTube. YouTube is like the best teacher, to be honest. All right. Without any further ado, let's get into it.
Gentlemen's game here. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. It was actually my birthday a few weeks ago, and the week leading up to my birthday, I took time to reflect on how I've navigated my 20s so far. Things I wish I could have done differently, things I wish I didn't waste so much time on, etc. So I felt inspired to share 5 of the most important lessons I've learned so far in my 20s. These are things I wished someone had told me when I was 19 or 20, about to enter real adulthood. So, hopefully, for the younger viewers or viewers in your early 20s, you can pick up something useful from this video to apply to your own life.
Mm-hmm.
Before we start, though, make sure to check out my free 5-page PDF on the fundamentals of
All right, we're gonna skip
attraction.
that.
1. An abundance of time and options. When you're in your 20s, you will never have more free time in your life than you. I'm
What the
here to
fuck?
talk about
Bro, I hate these
numerology.
ads, bro.
If you guys haven't heard or used
But the time
numerology,
aspect is a
this
real thing,
message
though.
you do right now. chances are you most likely don't have a kid yet or a mortgage to pay off.
I would
You
hope
might have a
not.
job that you need to devote 8 hours to every day, but once you're off the clock, you probably have lots of free time. Or at least lots of free time relative to how little time you'll have in your 30s and 40s. I want you to think of time.
Yeah, time is definitely the biggest asset, honestly, and it could be overwhelming at some points, you know, because it's like playing GTA, you know what I'm saying, and you have the mission, which was school, you know, because when school ends, that's when you enter real life, also known as free roam, as I like to call it. Basically, you're free to do whatever you want to do. You could, you know, rob a bank right now. No one's telling you what and what not to do. Only you know the path for your life. But just know that when you whatever you do in your free roam time has consequences, you know, and it kind of derives you away from your main mission. Honestly, with my mission, you know, as far as building this YouTube channel and stuff like that, I had to come to the conclusion, like, even though I'm an outside person, I'm an outdoors person, I have to stay indoors a little bit more, you know, to get these videos done and stuff like that. But hey, it's all about the sacrifice, man. And a few years from now, few months from now, I'm gonna look back and be like, damn, we did that. Yep, we did that because we chose to sacrifice. But let's keep going.
Time as a river. Sounds like a cheesy Eastern proverb, but it's a good analogy. When you're born, you start out by the shore, ready to sail into the waters. And as you go through school and learn how to make friends and be social, you're starting to venture out into the waters a bit more as the flow of the river pushes you further and further away from the shore. And eventually, when you're in your 20s, you're at a very unique spot in the river. It's too far from the shore that you can't swim back,
Mm,
and the river's current is only pushing you further and further away, but you're still very, very far away from the end of the river. So you
hmm.
have the decision of how you're going to sail your boat, right? Like which direction you want to swim towards for the remainder of your life. Thing
Facts.
is, when you're in your 20s, you have so much time. Again, you will probably never have as much time and energy as you do now. So take advantage of it. How
Yeah, that's the problem too. Like personally, what I've been facing is that I've had so much time on my hands that I spent it on bullshit early on. Like the first couple years of my 20s, I spent it on bullshit. Like I was just smoking weed, I was just outside playing ball. I did nothing productive, did not read, did not really like self-improve or nothing, just ate a lot. That's how I got big, you know what I'm saying? And then by 2021, that's when I started my self-improvement journey, you know? I started with fitness. I just thought fitness was the end all be all. Then I was like, no, once I got to a certain level of fitness, I was like, okay, I want to master like financial freedom. I want to master you know, the mind. I want to master my body. I want to have all three. I think the thing that bothers me now, my main concern is like with all this time, am I using it wisely? Am I using it in the right places? Am I putting my energy in the right places? Because yes, there's a lot of things that I like to do, but what ultimately is my purpose? So that's mainly a lot of things that I've seen people my age struggle with. Like we have difficult finding our purpose because no one, unless you clear cut know exactly what you wanted to do from the jump street and you got into it early, most people don't know their purpose. They just go through and float through college endlessly, and then after college, it's like, what else? But let's continue.
how do you want to set yourself up for the rest of your life, right? What skills do you want to learn? What kind of a dating life do you want? What countries do you want to visit before you die? All of these are questions you need to reflect on and then direct your time and energy into solving. When you're this young, the options are truly endless, right? It's like that quote, you can do anything, but not everything.
Mm-hmm.
So take advantage of your abundance of time and gain experiences. If there's a time in your life to be selfish, it's now, in your 20s.
Yeah.
Number two, take more risks and L's. If there's one thing I'm really grateful I did in my early 20s, it was that I took lots and lots of
Hell
L's
yeah.
or losses.
That's what I'm learning right now. Honestly, I've been so afraid to take leaps and bounds, and I realized, like, wait, this is the perfect time. Like, I'm living at home with my parents. You know what I'm saying? Like with my dad. Um, yeah, if I don't take risks now, then when would I ever have time? You know what I'm saying? Like when I was in high school, I had a whole bunch of time, right? Now that I'm getting older, my time is a little bit more limited now, but I still have a lot of time. but I see how growing up your time starts to get more limited as you go. Like this is like it's like a game, you know what I'm saying? It's like your time money balance. It's definitely the game of life. And if you don't figure out the game early on, you might end up being a loser later on. You know what I'm saying? If you don't get a grasp of it now, hey man, hey, let's continue though.
I lost tens of thousands of dollars trying to build my first two businesses. I worked at miserable, soul crushing jobs for years after school before finding my path. I would go to clubs with my buddies, and sometimes I'd not only get rejected by girls, but I'd get completely embarrassed. Like, I remember one time this girl literally gave me a look like, you're kidding, right? Before she sipped her drink and just walked away. Those
That's tough.
rejections, those L's hurt so much at the time. I'd feel defeated.
But that's how you learn. That's how you learn. Like when you take those L's face to face, and like he said with that rejection is a no. That no could just be a not right now, you know, and then you might run into a greater opportunity later on down the line because you took so many no's. It built up your character to the point where no's don't affect you no more. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the number one thing with like especially dating, like in pickup, like the more no's you take, you got to realize that it makes you stronger and it makes you more like your confidence starts to skyrocket. You need those things. You need life to tell you no at certain times because if you never go through that adversity, you don't know how to get back up and it's going to take you longer to get back up. The longer you take to get back up, it's over. It's over. Life defeated you. Now it's done. But let's continue.
Frustrated. Like, was it even worth going out to improve my game if it was going to suck this much? Was it worth taking these painful rejections and having my self esteem
Yep.
obliterated? The next morning, I'd wake up, look at myself in the mirror, and ask these tough questions. But almost always, my answer was yes. Yes, it was worth taking.
Fact. Whenever a
Bro,
woman
I hate
starts to
these
like a guy,
ads.
there's
I hate
almost
these
always
ads.
Because it made me tougher, it made me more resilient to adversity. And looking back, that was probably the single greatest decision I made. Because through those early experiences of taking lots of risks, lots of losses, you learn to stop fearing failure.
Exactly. Point I just made. Point I just made. Like you have to go through that adversity in order to see the other side. There's no way, as especially as a man, there's no way that you become a high status, high value man, high conquering man, or whatever, and you never been through any type of challenges. You just had a straight, easy path. No, no way. You know what I'm saying? The only time things are easy, the path of the less I forgot what I was gonna say, but the path of least resistant is usually the one that leads to failure, honestly. And you don't want that. Well, let's continue.
And once you stop being scared to fail, you gain a certain sense of freedom. The freedom of actually learning for learning's sake, not just trying to avoid failure. There's a great book I actually read about this, Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. Basically, in the book, he talks about how when you take risks and fail, you have one of two choices. You can either take the failure personally, like you're inherently just not good enough, making you discouraged from trying again in the future, or you can choose the second option, which is to choose to interpret your failure as an opportunity for growth,
Exactly.
seeing where you need to work
Two
on,
different
etc.
mindsets.
Going back
Two different mindsets, same problem. Same problem, but you're looking at it at two different ways. If you look at it personally, if you let it attack you personally, then you will feel it personally. If you just say, okay, no, it's a part of the process, you acknowledge that this is the process and you have to go through it in order to come out the other side a better person. That's two different people, two of the same scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Two different mindsets, two different outcomes. Which one do you want to be? You want to be the person that's defeated, or you want to be the person that learns something from it and finally breaks through and achieves their goals? Only you could decide that. Let's continue.
to the same example as before, when I get a rejection from a girl these days, which will still happen by the way no matter how
Mhm.
good you become, I
Yeah.
brush it off easily. I learn to even find the humor in it, like, damn, that girl just shut me down. It's alright, her boyfriend wouldn't have liked it anyways if I made out with her. And then I just move on to the next one, the next shot, the next project, or the next whatever that you're scared to fail at. So don't be scared to take more risks. Do things that take you out of
and we forget, like, as humans, like as obviously as humans, as people, like, this is what makes us feel alive, like taking risk and coming out on the other side of it, still intact and still, that's what makes us alive. You know what I'm saying? You don't get that feeling when you're in your comfort box. You get that feeling when you try new experiences and you realize, oh, it's not that bad. That's when you feel alive. Remember the first time you went ice skating? The first time you probably like this, you went skydiving, the first time you done something really scary or something like that, or you walked through a haunted house, right? And yeah, it was scary on the inside, right? But once you got out that bitch, right? He was like, ooh, like this is a sense of relief because you conquered a task. You conquered that part. Now you walked out a little more confident now because you're like, okay, if I did it once before, I could definitely do it again. Same thing. Same thing.
Your comfort zone, things where you'll likely fail at times, but it's still so worth it in the end once you evolve into a better you. Number 3, not everyone is going to like you.
At all.
From childhood
At
through
all.
your teen.
At all. That's a lie. We all should get along, and people need to accept people for who they are. Yes, you wish that was the way of life, but a lot of people's gonna hate you just because, like, who you are, like, and it has nothing to do with you. It just has to do with their insecurities, and it has to do with how they view themselves in the world. They might see you as a light beacon, and they might see you as somebody who has a greater purpose. Like, you know what? I don't like that person. I don't like Darius. I don't like Nuisance. You know what I'm saying? And just because you didn't even say a word to them, you might not even said nothing, not even looked in their direction, they automatically look at you, criticize you, and like, I don't like that person. Why? Because the skin of the tone of their skin, or the way they speak, or the way they carry themselves. Like, childish, but that's how the world is.
Teenage years, you're taught how to get along with people. You work on group projects, form study groups, join extracurricular organizations, maybe learn how to work your first job and be an obedient employee. During these formative years, you're encouraged to avoid confrontation.
Yeah.
When a bully tries to bother you in school, you probably call on the teacher to take care of it instead of handling it yourself, for example. But once you become a grown adult, you quickly realize that you're going to have to learn how to deal with difficult people.
And that's what school doesn't teach us. School doesn't teach you that. It tells you, raise your hand, right? And tell the teacher, hey, this person's throwing something at me. Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it doesn't teach you how to properly handle stressful situations to that point. I'm not saying let the kid get bullied to the point where they beat him to a post. I'm saying, like, hey, man, like my counselor, my dean used to do in high school. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got beef? All right, we're gonna settle this in the dean's office. We're gonna move all the chairs, and y'all gonna scrap for like a good 15 seconds. 15 seconds, you know what I'm saying? Get your punch in, he get his punch in, this and that, whoop, break it up. All right, cool. You know what I'm saying? He would do that, and he would do it like in a little bit of rounds, right? You would have one round, the other person would have another round, another person have another round, and then after that, y'all would shake it off. Y'all would shake it up, you know what I'm saying? Like that, you know what I'm saying? And just be like, you know what? Squash that shit right now. Squash that shit right now. Y'all just had a little difference, but it doesn't have to go beyond this era, this space right here. And I think that's what school really needs. You know what I'm saying? Okay, y'all two got beef. Boom. All right, take it to the back. You know what I'm saying? Have a supervisor with y'all, a couple people that can pull y'all off and this and that. And you know what I'm saying? But I say all that to say that we need that. We need that because this whole narrative of somebody's going to be there to save me, this superhero mentality bullshit, is not real. That's not the real world. You got to fight a lot of your battles alone. And there's going to be people out there where you have to defend yourself. There is yes, there is fight or flight, but in certain situations, you can't flight. Certain situations, you got to stand up. If somebody's bullying you, or God forbid, if somebody's trying to like harm your kid in front of you, are you going to run away and act like you didn't see the shit? Or are you going to go and actually fight that person? Hey, it's on you, man.
Because not everyone is going to be reasonable.
Yeah,
not every
fucking ads though, like, yo.
Do you want to start or grow a YouTube channel this year? If you would
I gotta
say
find a
yes,
way
then
to
I want to
skip these
invite you to
ads.
join me.
everyone
These
is
ads.
going to like you. And if you maintain that childlike desire to please everyone and avoid confrontation, you will be taken advantage of
Hell
in
yeah.
some way.
Oh, yeah.
It's inevitable because there are some real jerks out there. And that's completely fine because you're not going to like everyone back. What you need to learn to do in these scenarios, whether at work or at a social event, when you bump into some unsavory people who don't like you, is to stop caring what they think about you.
Yeah, that's the biggest key. Honestly, when I used to care a lot about what people think. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't used to be confident. I used to really care. Like I used to ask people, "Damn, do you think this and that?" And people could tell I was just insecure from the questions I was asking. And it was crazy. Like it's a day and night how people treat you when you actually care about yourself versus when you're insecure. And when you judge, when you go by, damn, people don't like me because they give me these looks and they look away and this and that, like, and all the things that you play in your head. Honestly, it hinders you because it allows people to have that control over you, and your emotions are now in their hands. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because that's a fucked up place to live, and it messes up your mental space. But let's continue.
Right, there's another book I read about this called The Four Agreements. Right, one of the principles the author teaches is to stop taking things personally. Basically, when someone acts like a dick to you, it has more to do with their own issues
Yep.
rather than something wrong with
Exactly.
you. Right, some people are just unpleasant, so stop caring what they think about you and stop trying to please.
You might even be better than them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that anybody's better than anybody, but they might see something in you that be like, damn, I wish I had that. So instead of embracing that shit, just like people show love to people, people show hate to people that they admire. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why a lot of famous people they have a lot of supporters, but they have a lot of haters as well. And haters, what they say about them, they're just fans in disguise. They can't acknowledge the fact that you're so great. So instead of that, they're gonna be faithful into hating you. You know what I'm saying? They put all that energy into hating you when they really love you. You know what I'm saying? They're your biggest supporters. They're gonna watch all your shit. They're gonna listen to all your shit. They're gonna buy your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they make you more successful. And the people that say, "Oh, I'm not a hater," and this and that, but they leave in hateful comments and under fake avatars and shit in comments. Like that's you got nothing better to do with life. You're so infatuated with that person, and they have such an effect on you that you have to try to bring down their light. You're lame. You know what I'm saying? Let's
Everyone. It's corny to say, but be yourself. Be comfortable with who you are. Whoever
Word.
likes you will like you for you, and those that don't like you won't. That is life. Number 4, go out as much as possible. When you're in your 20s, there's never again going to be a time in your life where you'll have as much energy, time, and motivation
Facts.
to go out and meet people. The sad reality is, the older you get, the less you're gonna go out.
Damn, I didn't even realize that, honestly. Like I wish I need to take more advantage of that step too. I feel like I kind of shelter myself a little bit in my little habitat sometimes. Like doing the same shit over and over like a simulation. But that's a good helpful advice, because I can see where being by yourself at a long period of time could really like mess up your mental and make you feel like you're isolated. And that's how kind of people, if they untreat it too long, they could end up doing like stupid shit like suicide and shit like that. But yeah, these are real issues, man. But let's continue.
It'll be harder and harder for you and your friends to get together as they get married, have kids,
Yeah.
and buy a house. Your 20s are the time in your life where you can go out the most. Not that you can't go out in your 30s and beyond. Anyone who wants to improve in this aspect of their life still can, but generally it just isn't the same when you're older. So enjoy it while it lasts. Also, another reason I suggest to go out as much as possible in your 20s is because it's the best time to actually learn how to be comfortable and natural in these types of environments. A lot of my viewers tell me that they have some form of social anxiety. Well, the best way to overcome social anxiety is simply through exposing yourself to those sorts of social situations and to slowly desensitize yourself to the anxiety or those feelings of awkwardness.
And he's not lying. He's not lying because a little bit I did a social interaction challenge like earlier the beginning of this year, right? I said to myself, I'm gonna talk to 100 people by the end of this month, right? Don't care. It could be a simple, hey, hello, how are you? How's it going? And I'm gonna force myself into this situation to where I have to say something and I have to like at least navigate into some type of conversation, or initiate a conversation. And yeah, for sure enough, I actually completed the challenge and I noticed a huge difference. In comparing it to this, you have to go out and meet new people and talk to new people each day in order to gain those social skills or keep those social skills. Because if you don't, your social skills are going to stagger. You're going to stagger and you're going to be like, out there like you know what I'm saying, not knowing what to talk about or not knowing how to flow from conversation to conversation. You need that. That's not only a life skill, it's also good in just finance, you know what I'm saying, survival, you know what I'm saying, that you need to be able to talk and communicate and verbalize how you feel and express your thoughts verbally, because this is how we communicate. This is how we interact with one another. This is how things happen. This is how the world moves around. Let's continue.
So if you do have social anxiety, you're going to benefit so much more from learning to overcome that in your 20s so that you'll have the rest of your life to reap the benefits of learning those social skills.
Yep. Fear is only a mindset. If you don't let it bother you, then it can't affect you.
On the other hand, if you have social anxiety and you put off trying to overcome it until your 30s, it's only going to be harder and harder to do so as you get older and your brain gets more set in its ways. And when you do finally overcome social anxiety in your 30s, you'll have less time to actually reap the benefits.
Exactly.
So don't put this off. Go out as much as possible in your 20s. Take social risks and learn to strike a conversation with a stranger. I'm not saying you have to go out every night, but once or twice a week is good. You'll be thanking yourself that you did, and you'll look back fondly on those years with nostalgia when you're older. Number 5, move out. Look, I get that.
I'm still working on number 5, to be honest. I'm still working on number 5. Yeah, but I already know it's beneficial to you. It creates independence and it creates a sense of self-reliance, I should say. But let's continue.
Millennials live with their parents on average way more compared to older generations. And you can blame this on a bunch of different reasons. Buying a house is more expensive than ever. The increase in salaries hasn't kept up with inflation. The student loan debt trap can feel like a shackle around your ankle, and so on and so forth. But with that being said, I still can't emphasize enough how important it is to experience living on your own at some point in your 20s. This is the age when you're supposed to learn how to be truly independent, to be self-sufficient. Truth is, women just aren't attracted to a 35-year-old man still living in his mother's basement.
That's crazy. 35 and still living in your mom's basement. Like if you don't have it figured out by then, that's crazy. That's because you're a full adult by that time. You know what I'm saying? I would say the cutoff age to figure out like how to live on your own or get your own place, I would say is probably like maybe 20, 25, 27. Like 27 is really pushing it, but 25 is really it. I feel like you should have your shit together enough to where you're trying to actually make and move steps, you know what I'm saying, so that you could better your life. But there's a lot of people that end up like that because they're so complacent and comfortable in their own environment. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I used to be that type of person. Like up until recently, I used to be that type of person. I was like, I could live here forever. I could do my own thing here forever. And you know what I'm saying? Things are good, things are paid for. I'm just chilling right now. All I gotta do is work, get my little money, and do whatever I want with it. Realizing like when you grow up, when you get that mindset of like, wanting to do things for yourself, you're just like, nah, that's not acceptable. I can't accept living under another man's roof and the whole time of my life. You know what I'm saying? Even if it is my dad, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm very thankful that he's, very lenient to even let me stay here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 23, but yeah, I can't just depend on people to provide a way for me. I'm at the end of the day, if I want to call myself a man, you know what I'm saying, I have to do manly things, which means I have to get my own, get your own car, get your own crib, you know what I'm saying, own clothes, food. etc. Make a way for yourself. That's part of being a man, man. Part of being a man. Let's continue.
It's all right for a while, but at some point, you need to be your own man. I mean, think about it. Let's say you end up having the most amazing night out, meeting a beautiful girl who's super into you, down
Yeah.
to come over and have fun, and then
You don't
you
got
take
no
her back
crib.
to your parents' house. Not exactly a turn on for her. In my personal opinion, I think it's fine to stay at home until 25 or 26. I actually didn't move out until I was 24. But forcing yourself to find a way to survive on your own will be a powerful growth experience. It'll be stressful at times. There might be moments when you're questioning yourself if you made the right choice, if you should stick with it and learn to deal with the responsibility of living on your own, or move back in with your parents so that you can save some money and let them take care.
And I know that shit got to be scary. Like at least the first couple months, because you're just new to everything. You're just like, ah, damn. Okay, how am I gonna get this bill paid? Mom usually does this. Dad usually does that. Like now you got to do everything yourself. Now you just like, all right, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. But I think that part is what makes you a better man, because it gives you that stability, and it lets you hold your nuts a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like it lets you be like, all right, damn, okay, we could do this. You know, and after a while, when you do it, I'm pretty sure it got to be the ultimate confidence to be like, yo, let's go back to my crib. You know, we gotta have drinks in my crib. You can stay in my crib. Just saying that alone is just like, it's just self-empowering. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't wait to the day I'm able to say that, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go to my crib. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got my own crib, I got my own TV, I got my own living room set. You know what I'm saying? I got my own car. You know what I'm saying? This is shit that ownership is really powerful. You know what I'm saying? Just anything like that. That's what makes a man, like just knowing that he could take care of his responsibilities at the end of the day. And let's keep it going.
Care of you. But I promise that the lessons and life experiences you'll gain from moving out and being your own man or woman will transform you into a tougher, more resilient, more resourceful, and overall more mature and capable adult. If you put yourself in a situation where you don't get a chance to learn these skills until your 30s, the reality is by then you'll be behind the curve compared to your peers. So to summarize today, we talked about 5 things you need to know in your 20s, which are: number 1, taking advantage of how much time and options you have.
Yep.
Number 2, taking more risks and L's. Number 3, not everyone is going to like you.
No, they're not.
Number 4, go out as much as possible.
Yep.
And number 5, move out and be independent. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll be
So
talking.
that's it for the video, guys. Honestly, the main takeaway from it is just that all these things take time. You know what I'm saying? It's not a one-stop shop. All these things take time. Honestly, the ability. Let's go back. What did he say? The ability to be on your own. Hold on. Okay, taking advantage of how much time you have. Yeah, that's definitely a major key factor. But you have to want to do that. You have to really wake up and be like, you know what? I'm gonna take full advantage of what's in front of me, because I don't want to end up being a loser later on in life. Taking more risks, it's the same thing, but that's more on the courageous side. That's more on the fear factor, getting rid of that fear, that comfort zone. And when you get rid of that comfort zone, it allows you to see new things, see new endeavors, go different places, meet new people, you know, travel, all type of stuff like that. You need to see that to get that experience, to build up those experience points, to realize like, nah, I want to do it on my own. Get out as much as possible. Same thing I just said. You just got to get out there, and this is more to what you want. It's more to see than what's around you. You know, you're in this environment, and because you're in this environment so long, whatever environment you're in, could be New York, could be New Jersey, could be LA, could be California, could be Texas, etc. Your environment, your immediate environment is not the whole world. It may seem like it because you've done your daily routine so much throughout that process, but it's not the real world. It's not the whole world, I should say. There's much more to explore, and you got to go out, man. You got to see more. Move out, and be independent. Honestly, I feel like this is the major last step, and I'm glad that he saved it for last because this is a huge step. This is combining the fear factor, you know what I'm saying, of being independent and being totally self-reliant and allowing yourself to be like, you know what, I could do this. I could do this, you know, and then stepping, putting that leap forward and making shit happen. Um, and also, the one thing that he did add to was like, you know, you can't be, you can't think about what other people say. Like, you can't care about what other people think of you, and that's true because if you care what other people think about you, then you're gonna spend your whole life trying to appease people, and you're never gonna please everybody. So you're gonna end up being a empty vessel at the end of the day, and just wondrously, hopelessly walking through life because now your purpose is to please other people. So yeah, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you guys really found this educational. I hope you guys like these style of videos. Definitely gonna do more in the future, man. Like I do like these kind of informational type videos where I could kind of like give my little input throughout the video and just share my experiences with y'all. And you know, we learn together. This is a learning channel. You know, I want y'all to really take this in and hopefully implement certain different steps so that you can make your life better at the end of the day. It's your boy Nuisance. I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and I'll be back with another one. Peace.